Hi and welcome to episode 13 of Crafts from the Third Floor. I'm Tracy and I'm coming to you today from Leicestershire, which is right in the middle of England. Today is Friday the 2nd of February. Gosh, February already, where is this year going? You can find me on Instagram and Ravelry as Norah George Yarns, and we also have a group on Ravelry, which is the Norah George group. Like I said, we're coming to you and it's February already. Time is just flying by this year. I can't believe January's gone already, and obviously February's here, which means spring will be coming soon. The weather's improving ever so slightly. The nights are getting longer and lighter, which is brilliant for crafting because obviously you get those extra few daylight hours to actually do your projects without straining your eyes in the artificial light, and it's just a joy. The weather here is cold but bright, and it's just the kind of weather that I love. And also still the kind of weather for knitting and not getting too hot, which is even better. So today I'm going to share with you some of my finished objects. There are a couple, actually there's 3 altogether, but I'm kind of counting 2 of them as one. And there's one big finished object, which if you follow me on Instagram, you've probably already seen. I've got some works in progress and some acquisitions, which you can see behind me just here. And then I'll just show you what's already in the shop this week, because we've had our update a couple of days earlier than usual. So I will just show you what's already in there and what you can get your hands on straight away. So let's start with finished objects. So for a start, I'll show you them and then I'll just talk a little bit about it. I've got 2 washcloths, and these are washcloths that are knit with the Grammas Favourite pattern on Ravelry, and that's a pattern by PJ Allen, and I did the option without the eyelets around the edge. It's a free pattern on Ravelry, and you cast on with 3 stitches, which, find the right corner, I'm pretty sure that was my cast on corner, and you basically increase, you knit 3 stitches and then increase by knitting front and back into the stitches, and you get a lovely sort of dishcloth or washcloth knit on the bias. So I've got 2. The pink one is knit out of Dewdrops Paris, which is 100% cotton yarn, and this teal coloured one is knit out of Rowan Softknit Cotton, and I'm not actually sure of the makeup of that yarn. I'm pretty sure it is 100% cotton, but it's more like a chain, almost a chainette style yarn. Whether you can see. But anyway, both of these give a great texture. This one is a little more rustic feeling. It's not rustic really, it's just a bit rougher. So this kind of washcloth would be best suited maybe to maybe washing dishes, or maybe if you wanted to use it as a face cloth, something that's a bit more exfoliating, whereas this is a lot softer, and obviously will get even more softer as it's used. So the reason that I'm knitting these washcloths is Amber, who is the yarn hoarder, if you don't already watch her podcast, where have you been? You've got to watch it. The projects that she does are fantastic, and Amber is just so sweet and lovely, and she's one of my favourite podcasters to watch because you feel like you're sitting in the room with her. And I've got to admit, I like it when she does the really long podcasts rather than the shorter ones, just because I like to spend a bit more time with her really. And what Amber's doing this year is she's aiming to knit a washcloth or dishcloth, whatever you want to call them, every week of the year. So at the end of the year, she will have 52 washcloths to gift at Christmas. And I thought, what a great idea. So I think the hashtag is yarnhoarderdishclothchallenge, but I will put it up on the screen anyway. So I've only done 2, but my 3rd one is underway, which I'll show you in works in progress. And my aim is to knit 52, which I'm not going to do one every week. I'll probably have weeks where I knit 4 and then don't knit any for a while. But my aim is to knit all 52. I've got loads of cotton yarn, especially the Dewdrops Paris that I bought when I ran a knitting workshop and it never got used. And I got it really cheap online. So I'm going to use all of those. I've got a range of different colours. So I might do some striped ones and things like that. And then I also put in an order with Knit Picks for some of their dishy yarn, because that's really an expensive yarn as well. And I thought, well, I might as well try some interesting yarn if I'm going to be knitting loads of these. I actually bought a book as well, which I'll share with you later, and I'm going to try and knit patterns, different-ish patterns for each one. Obviously these two are both the same, but you can tell they were knit on the same size needles, but the yarn was different, so you can see the difference in the size. So it's a good inch difference in size between those two, and that's basically just the yarn, the different yarn makeup. So yes, when it gets to Christmas, I will, my plan is to go to Lush and buy a big block of soap and cut it up for everybody, and all the ladies and lovely friends in my family and friend circle will get a couple of lovely washcloths and some soap from Lush for Christmas. I think my family and friends are pretty much accepted now that they will get knitted gifts. And I've not had one complaint, but then I would never expect anybody to complain about a present anyway. And the people that I did gift socks to this year loved them, so that's all good. Okay, so that's my dishcloth challenge. So 2 done, and we've already had, I think, have we had 5 weeks in? Because I think January was a 5 Monday month, but anyway. Okay, so my next finished object, which I'm pulling off the coat hanger, is the mix and match cardigan that I knit for my mum. I asked if I could borrow it, and she initially said no, because she's terrified that I'll steal it. And honestly, I'm tempted. So this was my test knit that I've been showing you over the last couple of weeks. And this is the mix and match cardigan by Mina Philipp. So mum very kindly put it over a white top for me, just so you could see the contrast in the design. So it's about hip length. Hold it back a bit. And it's got lovely, let's put it on the coat hanger a bit better so you can see. It's got raglan shaping. So it's knit top down, and then you knit the button, band and collar afterwards. Top down to about here. You put the sleeves on waist yarn, and then you knit the body. The great thing about this cardigan is, which I've said before, so if you've seen it, I'm sorry for repeating myself, but the name mix and match comes from the fact that you can actually change the design to suit you. So you can either knit a plain stockinette like I've knit here, or you can knit a textured version. You can have a flat collar and button band, which is what I've got here, because that's what mum said she wanted. And you can do either a straight hem or a high-low hem, so it'd be lower at the back. And I just did the straight hem, because that's what my mum wanted. I've got to say, for something that looks, it's straightforward, it would be a great first sweater pattern, because it can be as simple as you want to make it. It's a really enjoyable knit for something that's so straightforward. I raced through it. I thought it might be something that I got bored with because of all the stockinette. I didn't at all. I think that was in part to the yarn that I used, which I loved, but the pattern itself is brilliantly written. There's lots of different sizes, lots of different options. You can do full sleeves, 3/4 sleeves, anything you want. So I would highly recommend it. I think it's still in testing stages at the moment, but it will be released shortly. So if you follow Mina on Instagram, she's Knitting Expat, I'm sure that she'll have all the details on there. But it's beautiful, and I absolutely love it. I'm really happy with how it turned out. I'm really jealous that my mum got to keep it. So I used, the yarn I used was BC Garn Semilla in the colourway 136, which is powder pink. That comes in 50 gram balls. It's 100% organic wool. It's non-superwash. It's so lovely to work with. It blocked beautifully. It's soft, but not too soft. I don't think it's going to pill too much. Like I said, it blocked really nicely. It was lovely to work with, and I think it's going to be lovely and cool to wear because it's not too dense a gauge on the cardigan itself. And I can't wait for my mum to wear it just to see how she gets on with it. So she's going to wear it over dresses and things in the spring because it's got 3/4 sleeves, which is what she wanted. The yarn, I knit the 46-inch finished size, and I used just over 6 balls of yarn. So I think all in all I used 308 grams of yarn, which equates to about 995 meters or something. and that's on a DK weight yarn. So really affordable. The yarn, I believe, was around £6 a ball, and you know, it cost me less than £40 to make. I didn't put any buttons on it because I think as I was knitting it, I just thought it would look beautiful as an open cardigan rather than buttoned. And I've also said to my mum, if she did want to close it, then I'd get her a nice shawl pin to close it with. So yes, all in all, 5 stars for the pattern, absolutely loved it. 5 stars for the yarn. It's just one of those patterns where everything came together and it was just perfect. The colour, the yarn, the design, the fit is amazing. And I'll put some pictures up actually of my mum wearing it. She looked really good in it and she loves it, and I've been instructed to take it back to her as soon as I've finished filming, which of course I will do even though I don't want to. So yes, as soon as that comes out, get it, because the options are endless, and I will absolutely be knitting another one of these. And I will even buy the mix and match sweater pattern for children as well, because it was just so much fun to make, and to make a quick sweater for the kids, it'd be ideal. So yes, thumbs up and well done, Mina. I loved it, and thank you for asking me to test knit. So now, works in progress. I'll start with my washcloth because I've already talked about it, and this is living in a new purchase. I wanted a little bag because I was going to say I don't have many bags. I have loads, but I just love this. And if you know me at all, you'll think, oh my God, it's pink. It's not me, but I love it. It's like a washed out, it's like a pink chambray with stars, and then inside it's got this beautiful floral print, and that's Rachel's tag there. Highly recommend Rachel's work, it's absolutely beautiful. So my next dishcloth is this one. I try not to pull it off the needle. My needles aren't quite long enough. Look how cute my needle is. That is Ron Weasley, and it was a set of needles that I got from Koritumi Crochet. I believe she's still making them. So I got all the Harry Potter figures. So the 3.5mm ones are Ron, and they're my favourite because I'm obsessed with ginger hair. And this is my washcloth. So this is a pattern from a book that I've got. I believe it's called Easy Knitted Dishcloths. I'll show you in acquisitions anyway. And this is a broken rib pattern. So this is what it looks like on one side, and then this on the other. And it's a really lovely texture. It's quite squishy. It would be a nice face cloth, but also a great dishcloth as well. And the yarn is, it's Drops Paris again. And the colour is number 23. It's a lovely soft dove grey. And it comes in 50g balls. This is quite a big washcloth. I think I cast on 45 stitches. I haven't followed the pattern exactly because it said to cast on 70, which would be huge. It did call for a fingering weight, and this is more of a DK. But I just cast on 43 stitches and just made sure that the number of stitches I cast on was divisible by the pattern repeat. So that's as far as I've got with that one. Okay, so my last work, or my next work in progress, I should say, not my last one, is my Dewdrop Socks pattern, and I'm running a knit along for the month of February. All you have to do is purchase my Dewdrops pattern from Ravelry and knit the pattern and enter your finished object in the finished object thread in the Norah George Ravelry group. So I've got really far with these socks. Yeah. So anyway, I've started the socks. You know, the knit along only started yesterday, so I'm not going to beat myself up about it. I'm knitting these out of my Snowdrop charity yarn, which was for Marie Curie, and it's a project that's being run by the Flower Power Fund, which is Sarah, and there's 12 yarn dyers throughout the year dyeing up yarn based on a flower, and then a percentage or a set amount from each skein of yarn sold goes direct to Marie Curie. So I was at first for January and my yarn was Snowdrop. This is on my BFL base, and I also dyed up for myself a lovely green to go with it. So I'm doing contrast heels, toes and cuffs with that lovely green, and then I will knit my main pattern out of the Snowdrop yarn. So yeah, I got really far. We're going away on holiday over the February half term, so I will take these with me and get them finished while we're away. So unfortunately not much to show. My next project I'm very excited about, and I stayed up way too late last night. You can probably see the bags under my eyes. Stayed up way too late last night knitting on it. I don't know what it is, and I've spoken to a couple of friends who podcast, and they say exactly the same thing, that they kind of race to knit so they've got something to show. And while that's true, I'm just completely addicted to this pattern anyway. So I'll show you the yarn that I'm using. I've put this on Instagram, so if you follow me on there, you would have seen it. So I'm knitting the Timely Cardigan, which is a pattern by Libby Johnson, who's truly Myrtle. And the yarns that I'm using are both Norah George. So this one is Bellatrix Lestrange, which was part of my Mrs. Weasley's Knit Club, the last instalment of round 6, so it was December 2017 yarn. And then this is a new colour that will be in the shop soon, and this is called Storm Cloud. So it's a really soft grey, very, very soft grey. And I think they look really nice together. This Bellatrix Lestrange has got so many different colours in it. It took a long time to dye. It's not available to buy, unfortunately. All my club colours are going to be exclusive colours. But you know, there might be something similar coming to the shop at some point. But it's a grey base with pops of pink and purple, blue, and a lovely bright yellow. I can get that to focus on the yellow. You can just see it just here, and there's tiny pops there of the yellow. Anyway, I've got my needles. I just wanted to show you this quickly. I placed an order with Espace Tricot, which I'll show you in a bit, and with my order they included this needle minder, which is absolutely fantastic, because a project like this, if you throw it in a project bag, I don't like to work on really long needles, so my projects are always bunched up a little bit like this. All you do is push your needles into the end of the tube, and they sort of lock in, so you're not going to lose any stitches off the end of your needles. And especially if, like I said, you work on shorter needles like me, which is really good for showing the progress of a project. I mean, doesn't that look lovely, all bunched up? But I don't like long needles. I get tangled, the yarn gets tangled, I get cross, things get thrown, so it's not really doing anybody any favours. But anyway, I digress. I have started my Timely. Just to open it up for you. So there you can see the Bellatrix yarn, and that's a really good colour representation actually. And you get these odd pops of yellow. So these two yarns are being striped. I won't go too much into the details because it is a paid for pattern on Ravelry. I'm about 20 rows from separating for the sleeves. It's a fitted sweater or cardigan, rounded neck, and I wanted something to wear over dresses and short sleeve tops in the spring. It's knit, the base that I'm knitting it out of is my super sock base, which is 25% nylon, 75% superwash merino fingering weight. So it's lightweight, it's not too tight a gauge, so it will be quite airy and soft and perfect for spring. And because this yarn has got lots of different colours in it, you can see the pops of blue, the pink and purple, there's a little bit of black in there as well. I'm hoping it will go with a lot of the things that I wear, because I primarily wear white and navy and blue. There's not many colours that I really wear. Tops like this I will have a little bit of colour in, and obviously something like this would pick up on the pinks and purples and things that are in my top. So yeah, I love the pattern so far, and I'm just can't stop knitting it. It's really intuitive, really easy to memorize when you're doing the raglan increases, because it's a top down, I should have said that, with raglan increases, very much like the mix and match that I just showed you. So this is the right front, then there's a sleeve there, the back, and another sleeve, and the left front. So I'm really enjoying it. I was thinking of introducing another colour, which is a dark purple that would go sort of with this purple just here, maybe for the button band, but because I don't have to do that until right at the end, then I'm going to leave that decision until I have to make it. I think I'll probably just stick with the grey, the Storm Cloud, just because it's a nice contrast between the two. It's not too dark. It's, even though this looks a dark, well, relatively dark yarn in the cake and the skein, it's not coming out dark because it's being striped with that grey. So I might just keep it to those two colours and keep it nice and light and airy. But yes, really happy with it. Great pattern so far. Amy Florence of the Stranded podcast has knit one, and hers is amazing, and I pretty much crush on everything that Amy makes. And also demand that she gift me some of them, even though they wouldn't fit me in a million years. But anyway, if you haven't seen it finished, check it out on Ravelry or Amy's podcast. About 6 months ago maybe she finished hers. It's beautiful. Okay, so now I will go on to acquisitions. First of all, I wanted to show you some amazing progress keepers that I bought from my friend Marja. And she has a shop on Etsy called Clementine Taco, which I will link. She's just started making little clay charms, and as soon as I saw them, I knew I had to have some. Look at that hot dog, and you can see how small they are. They're so lightweight, they don't drag your knitting down, and the detail is incredible. So there's a hot dog, a little frappuccino with a gorgeous little happy smiley face, a watermelon slice. Aren't they just the happiest little things in the world? A cupcake, a salmon sushi. Look, the detail on them, they're so incredible. A little macaron, purple macaron, there you go. And finally this gorgeous little chocolate brownie with a heart on it. Aren't they gorgeous? Look at the detail on the side. I just love these, they're the perfect size. If you clip it on your knitting, I'm just going to clip them onto one of these dishcloths. Because they're lightweight, they don't drag your knitting down at all. They're not too big, so they don't get in the way. And they're just adorable. So cute. And very reasonably priced as well. So I will, like I said, I will link it in the show notes in the description box below. But go over and check out the things that Marja's got in there, because they are just stunning. I mentioned earlier that I'd placed another order with Espace Tricot over in Canada, and that came at the end of last week. And what I ordered were some pins that they've got in there from Rin Textiles. Let it focus. Okay, so that one says Knit Club, and I saw this. I can't remember whose Instagram I saw it on, but I knew I had to get that one. And also this grey skein, holding that upside down, which is really helpful. And I also ordered these stitch markers as well, because I do use ball pins quite a lot, but sometimes it's nice to have something a bit more fancy. So these are a larger size of the same ones. These are smaller ones. And I also ordered this ball of scrumptious pearl. 1 second, I'm just going to take the, got elastic bands around it holding it together. So this ball of scrumptious pearl, which is called Love Potion, and it's gorgeous. It's Harry Potter inspired yarn, and I'm a sucker for Harry Potter. And if you know me, I'm going to say this for the second time, I'm starting to get worried that maybe something is changing. This has got pink and purple in the same ball. It has got a minty green, which is me all over, but the pink and the purple, who knew? Maybe I'm changing, like I said. But anyway, I just adore it. I think it's beautiful. And it's on an 80/20 superwash merino nylon base, and it's 365 meters. It's gorgeous. So while I was placing an order, it's rude not to get something like that. I also got, I showed, I think it was last time I showed my Notions pouch on the podcast, and I couldn't remember who it was by. It was by Jezebel B. I'll show you the label because I've got a couple more things from there. So it was ordered from Espace Tricot, I ordered this little bag because, like I said, I'm short on bags. But I thought for while we're on holiday, it would be great for holding over my arm while we're walking around. And if I just pop this is a 50-gram cake. There's loads of space inside for other bits and bobs as well. But I just thought it'd be great for walking around while we're on holiday. So I got that. I think that was the small size. And then I did get another Jezebel Bee Notions pouch. This is the one that I showed last time. And I saw this first on Sandy's podcast, Sandy by the Lakeside. So hi Sandy, if you're watching. Thank you for helping me spend my money. And as you open it up, it's Velcro and it turns into like a little box. So it's so much easier to find all your notions and bits and bobs inside. I love those. I think they'll be replacing all of my other notion pouches, apart from my favourite notion pouch, which is this one, which was made for me by Amber, who is Maker's Haven, and it was hand-dyed fabric. I've got a little pin on here from my friend Julie from Suffolk Socks, and this is my favourite ever pouch. It's got cute little butterflies inside, and it's just the utterly perfect size. And yeah, I can cram loads of things in there, and it goes in every bag, and it's the only one that I've ever had in rotation constantly, so that one goes everywhere. But I do really like those ones that open up flat as well. So what else did I get from, oh yes, I also bought myself one of these because it was my birthday in January. It's no justification, I know. I bought myself one of these wrist rulers that's got, so it's a bracelet, but it's actually a ruler as well, so it's got all of the markings on. Let's get it to focus. There we go. So I got the brown colour, and it wraps around your wrist twice, but it is actually a functioning ruler as well. I haven't put it on yet because I wanted to show it off, but I will put it on now. And that is made by I Love Handles, and it's made in Oregon, which is awesome. Handmade, and it comes in this, I can't put it on with while I'm trying to do this. It comes in a little storage tin as well. So if I just show you that. Like I said, this is from Espace Tricot, and I got the 17-inch size just because I don't like anything too tight anyway. So yeah, it goes all the way up to 17 inches, and it's got markings in both centimetres and inches, so whether you work in metric or imperial, it's got everything on there for you. It's a lovely brown colour, and I love things like this because they age beautifully as well. So I got that, and the last thing that I got from Espace Tricot was a Maker's Keep from Cocoa Knits. I've wanted one of these for ages, and mainly because when I sit at night and knit, I will pile up stitch markers on the arm of the sofa. I will knock them off, or the kids will knock them off, and then they go down the side of the sofa, never to be seen again, or to be seen in a few months when they've gone rusty or something like that. So this is the Maker's Keep, and it's magnetised here, and you can keep your stitch markers on there, and it actually just snaps onto your wrist. So you can't see it very well because I've got my watch on as well, but it just snaps onto your wrist. So you can attach your needle as you're knitting or maybe darning or something, and your stitch markers as well, and they're not going to fall off there because they're stuck. So I got it in a green colour. There wasn't many colours left, but I thought actually that's quite fun. So you could even leave it flat if you wanted to, or obviously wear it on your wrist, which is great. So I got that as well. I can get rid of the box now that I've shown you. I hate boxes. And I think that was it from Espace Tricot. Okay, we'll go on to the next thing. So I placed an order with Plank and Stella, which I've been wanting to do for a really long time. And if you're paying for shipping and potentially customs from the States, you might as well go big or go home, I guess. So I'll show you, I've bought 4 skeins altogether. I'll show you the first 2. And they're so beautiful. And not just the colours, but they're so beautifully wound and presented. They're just like utterly perfect. So this is called My Funny Valentine. Pink and purple again. It has got blue. Honestly, what is going on with me? Wild Posy. And these are both on her Akami sock, which is 75/25. In focus. There we go. So it's a lovely soft blush pink with a few dark speckles in there. You can see them just there. That's Wild Posy. And this is also a Akami sock. This is Little Lolita, I think it's called. And this is so much fun. It's a soft pink base. It's not showing very well on the camera, but it's got some great speckles in there. Greens, pinks, purples, reds. And finally, Twinkling Lights. This is on a singles base. It's 100% superwash merino. And it's called the Maca Fingering. And it's a natural with a few neon speckles and some darker green and red in there as well. Look at that. Oh, it's amazing. I've been wanting this yarn for ages and it doesn't disappoint at all. It's stunning, absolutely stunning. Okay, sorry about that. My camera battery died and then the doorbell rang. Sadly, nothing for me. Me and my dad are pretty good pros at buying stuff online, so there's not a day goes by that this house doesn't resemble a DHL depot. Right, moving on. I bought a copy of Westknit's Best Knits Volume 2, which is sweaters. This was from the Loveliest yarn company, based here in the UK. And while I was getting that, I also got 2 skeins of Croft, which is a relatively new base from West Yorkshire Spinners. It's a Shetland tweed, Aran weight, and it's 100% Shetland iron wool. I think it's in association with Jameson and Smith. It will be a hand wash only, and this is in the colourway Closter or Closter. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. My apologies. So there you go, and it's gorgeous. It's like browns and like a mauvey speckle. So I think this would make a great cowl. It's very soft. It's not scratchy, and I'm guessing it will bloom and block beautifully. So it's 166 meters to 100 grams. So I bought 2 skeins of that. And I think what I'll do is just make a really simple kind of basket. A bit like the, or like a waffle pattern, a bit like the blueberry waffles pattern, but actually do it in a cowl. Going back to the book, I was showing Gemma some of the pictures and they're just so incredible. I'm not going to give any of the actual pattern away, but it's just so cool. And I love all of Stephen West patterns. I would probably never knit them in some of the colours that he does. But the actual design and structure of the garments are fascinating and so much fun to knit. I love this pattern here. And I'm planning on making this in shades of white, blue and navy. I just think it's stunning. So that's going to go on my list. I can't find the name. And I think this is a bit like the Penguono, which I knit last year. And you can make it bigger or smaller depending on how many. It's a mild design, so you hold different strands of yarn together. And I believe that's what you do to make it a different weight or a different size. It comes in small or large, and you can either use chunky or DK weight held double, and it's called Kangaroo Over. There you go. And there's a little schematic type image for you to show you how it's designed, and I think that it would look so cool in like a monochrome palette of blues and whites. So that is on my list, full of amazing patterns, and it's made me want to make another Penguono, which I will make, absolutely. I'll just show you a picture if you've not seen one before. Don't want to show any of the writing. But this one you size it up and down with combining different amounts of yarn. So if you wanted a smaller Penguono, you would knit it maybe with 1 or 2 strands of fingering weight held together, or if you want a larger one, you hold maybe 3 and some mohair. Or it's just great to experiment with different bases and combine different things in texture and pattern, and it's just one of the most fun things I've ever knit, but one of the heaviest and most yardage heavy garments that I've ever made as well. I also got, when I bought Westknits, I got this thing of paper as well, and this is a book of knitting patterns inspired by books, and it's by Carrie Westerman. And there's some gorgeous, I mean, I love this cowl. This would actually probably work with the croft I just showed you. Beautiful. And it gives you sort of like a little introduction and explains what it's based on. And let me find another pattern for you. It's a gorgeous shawl as well. A really lovely book, and I really like the size of it as well. You could actually put it in a bag and take it with you, whereas some of the other books are a bit bigger, so a little more tricky to kind of cart around. I also got, when I placed my order with So Ray Me, Rachel, I got this pouch, and I'd also bought 2 of these before and forgotten to show you, but anyway, I bought these as gifts. These are little memory jar tags, so this is what I'm doing with the children this year. Every time we do something that I don't want to forget, or they do some, like, well at school or something like that, I put these things in a little, write them down with the date, put them in a jar, and then at the end of the year, we'll open them all and look back on a year. So I bought 2 as gifts. These are for friends. And one of my friends has got 2 boys, which this one's for, and one of my friends has got 2 girls, which this one's for. And I also bought this gorgeous little bag from Rachel as well. It's got 2 zips, so it's got one here, which opens all the way up, and then the main zip as well. And I'm actually going to use this as like a little makeup bag, but you could easily use it as an oceans pouch as well. There's so much space in it. I just loved the fabric. It's a really soft pink and white, and it feels like a canvas. It's definitely a heavier weight cotton, and it's also interfaced, so it's quite squidgy. So they were from Rachel. Oh, and I got this as well. I forgot about this. It just says my latest whip on it. So that's going to go on my little bag here. And I'm just going to clip it on with a like a ball pin that I've got here. This just came with my order from Espace Tricot. So I'm actually going to do that now before I forget to do it. And I love little things like this because it just adds a personal touch, and I really like to think, you know, I'm supporting a friend and a small business owner like myself. So wherever I can, I support small businesses. So there we go. Doesn't that look lovely? So Rachel makes all different kinds of these. She's got a word of the year one, and I've got that actually on my car keys, and that one says grow. So yeah, they're beautiful. So I would suggest taking a look. I'm just going to open my can of Coke, so excuse me. Very healthy. I've had a coffee, a tea and Coke now. So maybe overloading on caffeine a little. Another book that I ordered ages ago that came this week and I've completely forgotten about was the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible, which I've not even looked at properly yet. I've flicked through and it's all charted designs. But I'll try and hold it up so you don't see any of the charts. There you go. So you can incorporate these into anything, socks maybe, or sweaters, or anything at all. And then there's some bigger ones too. Absolutely gorgeous. And I love the colour palette as well. There's all different kinds of ribs as well, and edgings. And it's really hard to get hold of this book, but I know, because I did check, that Amazon had some available from third-party sellers. So there you go. Great book. I'm going to delve into this later. And what else have I ordered? Oh, I ordered some extra Knit Pro Zing straight needles. I don't actually have any straight needles. These are from Meadow Yarn. So I got them in a 4mm and a 4.5. Because I did buy some carbons, but they were huge. I bought the 35cm length. These are 25cm. Still too big to keep in my bag, but a bit bigger than old Ron Weasley. And I'll show you my last bits of yarn. So I subscribed last year to the Cozy Knitter sock club, and I've carried it on this year too. So I ordered some extra yarns from one of her Valentine's, I think it was a Valentine update, and she sent my club yarn with it. So I'll show you the ones that I bought from the update. So you've got Old Romance here, and that's on a sparkle base. And it's so sparkly. I believe it's 16% stellina. It is 84% superwash marine and 16% stellina. And you can really see that sparkle, it's incredible. And this one is Antique Roses, which is gorgeous. And it's 80-20 superwash merino nylon, that one. And then the January Club, look away if you subscribe, not had it yet, which I think you should have because mine's come from Canada, so. This is Back to Business, which is perfect for January. I love this. But I will be really good and I will make Ben socks out of this because these are more Ben, well, they are my colours, but you know, I can wear pink striped socks if I want to. I don't think Ben would. So there's Christina's label. I'm ripped. Sorry, Christina, that was me, not you. I love Christina's yarn. Highly recommend it if you can snag some, and I just love being part of the club as well. The last thing I've subscribed to this year, I wanted to do a craft that was a bit slower because I do knit quickly and sometimes it's nice to slow down. I actually subscribed to the Stitchery, which is from Nikki Franklin of the Little Green Door, and it's a year-long subscription and it's stitching, does what it says on the tin. So in the club you get this beautiful piece of linen and it's got the design stamped onto it. You get all of the threads that you need. 1 second. You get all of the threads that you need to complete the design. There's a gold thread just there. And then all the greens and pinks. You get a little introductory piece of paper and you also get a picture of the finished design. So this is what it will look like when it's finished. And on the back, it gives you all the details of what colour to put where and what stitch you're doing as well. So what I'm going to do with mine is you could buy a notebook and have like a notebook full of them. What I'm actually going to do is make mine into a small quilt. I've got some lovely vintage fabrics in my stash. So it will be my 2018 little quilt. And you get all... in here you get some other embellishments and things, so little envelopes, all so beautifully made, all recycled paper, and you get some little embellishment bits as well. So I've got some buttons and another piece of pink linen, this vintage looking fabric, and then some ribbon in there as well. So I'm going to take this on holiday with me and do it over there because we're going somewhere hot and sometimes it's too hot to knit in the day. So I just wanted something that was a bit slower and that I could actually spend time and enjoy it, because when I'm at home there's always a million things to do. There's always work to do. And it comes in this gorgeous little package as well. So I'm really enjoying, really looking forward to doing that. And the last two things I've got to show you were things that friends have made up for me at my request. I've lost my drink now. God, I'm going crazy. I've been meaning to show this for a while. It's really precious and one of the most wonderful things I've ever received. I don't know how to put into words how amazing this is. But my friend Ali and I did a swap. She made this for me to give to Pippa, and she had one of my yarn advent calendars. So this is Bella Bunny. How stunning is she? You cannot appreciate how amazing she is. So she's made of wool felt and she's made by hand. She's got a dress and a bag, and in this bag she has a little toy bunny in a hand knitted dress. Pippa's obsessed with bunnies. Let's see if it'll focus. Nope. So baby bunny and a little carrot in her bag. Her bag has a carrot on and is lined. Let's put those back. Her dress has got a button. Sorry, there's somebody in the garden. It's one of my dad's friends. It's not just some strange person. So there's the tiny, look at that. She's got a hand knit Fair Isle, well, colourwork dress on. The tiny button on the back. You can see how small this thing, I just can't, my hands are so big I can't hold it well enough to show you how beautiful it is. And she's got little felt boots on, hand stitched. She's got an underskirt with lace around the edge, and she's got little bloomers with bows on. It's just incredible. Ali, you are so talented. I just wouldn't even know where to start making this. She's a treasure and an heirloom, and I'm so honoured to have her. So much so, in fact, that Pippa's not allowed to play with her. She's just too beautiful to be played with. So when she gets a bit older, she can have her, when she can appreciate her. She also came in this gorgeous bag. So Ali is jammy pudding and custard. She doesn't actually make to sell anymore. But she made this beautiful bag for Bella to live in. It's fully lined. And I keep her in there because she's too precious to let anything get to her. My children mainly. And she lives in there. And I don't do the top up because I don't want to stop her oxygen flow. But she's just so gorgeous. So Ali, thank you. The last thing I'm going to show you is, I asked my friend Siobhan of Siobhan's Crafts to make up some kits for some of Finn's friends in his class have got birthdays this weekend, 2 girls. They're having a joint birthday party, and I wanted to give them something crafty rather than something shop bought, a toy that will get broken and thrown aside, because there's more interesting toys. So Siobhan has sent me these, and they come in this gorgeous box, which makes for easy wrapping. Thank you, Siobhan. And it's actually a little mini weaving set. So in the set, I asked for pinks and purples. Siobhan has put these gorgeous yarns in. So this is a chiffon here, and these are hand spun. This one at the end has got sequins spun into it. Whether you can see any, yeah, there's this and there. So there's some yarns. There's some pink and purples fibres, and a natural one at the end. So well put together. I'm just being really delicate. There's some warp thread and even a pink needle, because let's face it, 5-year-old girls are pink. There's some bits of driftwood to hang your projects over. And finally, there's a tiny little loom in here as well, and some instructions. So there's the little loom, and in there is a little comb and a shuttle as well. So it's the perfect size for little hands. And I just thought, it's really nice, and I know how much I would appreciate it. And yes, okay, I'm a crafter, so I probably would appreciate it more than maybe the average person would. But it's something different, it's something educational that the girls can learn to make themselves. They can then give it as a gift if they wanted to somebody, you know, in their family, or and all the mums know that I'm a yarn dyer and everything at school anyway, so I'm pretty sure that they'll expect something like this, or they wouldn't be surprised at something like this, maybe not expect it. But I know that Siobhan sells these kits, and she's also doing a small necklace version with a little mini loom on, which is so adorable, and as soon as they're ready to go, then I'm gonna have one of those as well. But Siobhan very kindly made 3 kits of these up for me for the birthdays, and then there was another birthday a few weeks back. So the 3rd one will go to that little friend at school. So yeah, beautiful kits, Siobhan, thank you so much. And I can't wait to gift them and see what everybody thinks to them. Okay, so the last thing I'm going to go into is what is available in the shop at the moment. So like I said, we did a early update for this week. Excuse me, my throat's gone a bit scratchy. Some of the yarn has sold out already, but these are the ones that are left. So there's a Valentine mini skein set. Okay, try and hold them up and not block them. So we've got Blush Buds here, which is a soft pink base with speckles of purple, green and pink. We've got His and Hers here, which is a soft creamy yellow base with speckles of blue and pink. Just here is Daydream. That's a soft purple base with speckles of green, purple and yellow. Hearts Don't Break around here, a tonal purple with speckles of pink and purple, and finally cherry blossom, which is a peachy colour with pink and peach speckles. So they're all 20 grams each, 85 metres, so there's 100 grams in total, 425 metres, so they're perfect for a scrappy pair of socks if you wanted to do that, or maybe put into a blanket or something like that. You'd have plenty to work with. I'm going to show you all on sparkle bases, but they are all available on Super Sock, MCN, BFL and the Gold Sparkle. So first up is Vintage Rose, and this is a very soft pink and purple and yellow with purple and green speckles. This is called Fleckle. I have no idea why. People keep asking me that. I don't know. Just what came into my head. So this is a yellow and a very soft minty green with speckles of purple and pink. Let's move that so you can see. I have Rose, which is a lovely soft blush pink tonal. I love it on Gold Sparkle. And finally, Mermaid, which is a very neon pink with aqua yellow and green and purple speckles. And that's Mermaid. And I just wanted to show you that I'm actually going to knit a 2-colour shawl with the rose, and this is Sweet Nectarine that's still in the shop from a couple of weeks back. So that's what I'm going to use in a shawl. I'm not entirely sure which shawl I'm going to do yet, but I've seen one, I think it's called Emiliana by Melanie Berg, and it's quite a structural looking shawl. It uses 2 colours and then different stitches to interplay those colours together. It's beautiful. I'll pop a picture up if I remember to. So that's what one of my projects will be on holiday. So I'm going to take these 2 with me. I'm going to take my Timely and my Dewdrops socks. So just another word about the Dewdrops socks cal. It's, like I said, it's running from the 1st of February till the 28th. All details are in the Ravelry group. That's the Norah George Ravelry group. And all you have to do is enter a finished object before the 28th of February. It doesn't have to be with my yarn. It can be with any yarn at all. If you had started the socks before the cal started, that's fine. No problem at all. But do post a finished object in there if you like. And also there's a chatter thread if you want to talk about the yarn that you're using, or maybe if you had any queries about the pattern as well, you just feel free to drop them in there and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Apart from that, we've not really done a lot this week. There's not really much to fill you in on. It's just normal school life. Obviously getting ready to go away. So the shop, even though it will stay open, there'll be no orders shipping out between the 5th and the 23rd of February, just so that you know. There is a banner on the shop as well, just to let you know that. But the shop will remain open. There are clubs available in the shop as well for February. They are Mrs. Weasley's club this month is inspired by the Quibbler, which I've been dying to do, and I've got some really good ideas for that. I have done the Great Characters Club this month is Maria from The Sound of Music, and as always the Minis Club goes with the Great Characters Club. So the Minis Club is inspired by the film The Sound of Music, so they will go together nicely. I was going to show you January's clubs, but I'm aware that maybe they won't have arrived yet, so I will leave those until next time. So I'll probably show those off later on in February. But apart from that, just to say that I probably won't be here next week because we'll be on holiday, but I might try and do one short podcast while we're there, just to show you, update obviously on what I'm working on. There probably won't be any acquisitions, seeing as the place we're going to doesn't really sell yarn. But I can show you updates and I will keep you informed on Instagram. So it might be the end of February before I see you properly next. So everybody have a great month, happy crafting, and I will see you soon. Bye.